Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
Seeing color. I think it's time for a new series. Since I spent 20 plus years trying to be colorblind, let's see what I can learn from seeing color. I'm learning so much about people in TikTok comments by seeing color and gender. Of course, I should point out this is my perception of color and my perception of gender, but still, I'm learning a lot. I live in the United States. We're definitely a very individualistic society, high value on the individual. There are a lot of good things about this, but one drawback, people hate when you lump them into groups or try to suggest that they're making decisions or having thoughts because of how they were socialized, rather than being like this uninfluenced island of freedom. Take the time to scroll down one comment thread on one video on TikTok and notice how often opinions divide along race and gender lines.
I woke up this morning and I chose violence. I'm tired of opening TikTok and hearing people tell me that white privilege doesn't exist when I'm a first-hand recipient of it on a daily basis. So, white people, I need your help on this one. Stitch this and tell me you're white without telling me you white. White privilege edition.
Ice cream!
Let's talk about why men love to attack women. It all boils down to insecurities, really. Due to patriarchy from childhood, men are indoctrinated into believing that they are the superior gender. They are raised believing that they are stronger, more intelligent, funnier, altogether more capable than women. They are coddled by society, turning them into entitled little shits they are. Patriarchy never challenges them, so their entitlement and toxicity grows each day. They are made to believe that just because they have a dick, they should be given everything, and that society and the individuals that live in it owes them something. But then they grow older and the reality hits. They find out that they're nothing special, and that women are stronger and more capable than them because society doesn't coddle them, which makes them insecure and scared because it is not what is promised to them by society. And the only way they know how to cope is not to better themselves, but make fun of women to devalue them. Thus we end up with little shits like this and the wordless videos they make. I hope you get cancelled from life, you piece of...
Hey, I haven't shopped here before. Can you show me where the women's underwear is? Yes, absolutely. Are you looking for like a thong or like panties? Panties, I guess. Right this way, I'll show you the panties. Okay, now that we got that, I was wondering if you had any like button-up shirts that are like kind of nice I could wear to work. Oh, you mean like a blouse? That's a word? Yeah, I know, right? It's derived from French. Ew, okay, well, do you think these pants would fit me? I don't know what my size would be. Honestly, that could be like small, medium, or a 4, 6, or an 8. How is that possible? Honestly, nobody knows, but you could blame the French.
Blindness, while nice in theory, has no effect on structural and institutional racism. Racism is a system, and that system benefits certain people at the expense of others. Ignoring it just lets those problems persist. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at some examples where colorblindness doesn't work. Number 1, preschool punishment. Let's face a fact, preschool-aged children of every race are monsters. But according to the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights report released in 2014, black children make up 18% of preschoolers, but almost half of all suspensions. Half. And I don't think anybody believes all these preschool teachers are racist out to get little black children, but the data shows that black and Latino children often face steeper punishments than their white classmates for the same behavior. That's a problem. And simply believing we shouldn't see race or we shouldn't talk about race does nothing to solve this problem. Number 2, the name study. A study by the National Bureau of Economic Research confirmed that people with ethnic sounding names, that's a whole nother episode, are less likely to get interviewed when they apply for jobs. Meanwhile, applicants with white sounding names actually get 33% more callbacks for interviews. It's the equivalent of having 8 years of additional experience. Shout out to all the white Taquans struggling to get job interviews. And it's not just black and white. They've done similar studies around the world, and in Canada, people with white sounding names were 35% more likely to get callbacks than people with Indian or Chinese sounding names. So instead of just assuming people shouldn't care about color or names, companies, governments, and schools should take the bias out of hiring and experiment with nameless resumes to, solve the problem. Number 3, renting an apartment. When the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Urban Institute did a study about real estate, they found that Black, Latino, and Asian renters were shown up to 12% fewer units than white renters. And when the Fair Housing Justice Center used actors to apply for apartments, they found that Black and Latino renters were often told there were no apartments available, while white applicants were shown apartments in the same building. So this building has a pool, a laundry room, and a racist landlady. Colorblindness won't fix housing discrimination. We're going to need smart laws and a concerted effort for that. So tell me again how colorblindness is going to fix the fact that I can't get an education, a job, or a house. In many cases, colorblindness is actively harmful because it creates a false sense of security for the groups it directly benefits. The people who've benefited from systemic racism can assume that they got the job or a house or weren't suspended from preschool simply because they were more qualified or just better. Ignoring race or only acknowledging that it doesn't exist biologically is not a solution to these systemic issues. It takes work, effort, laws, and new systems to undo racism. These differences may seem minute, but they're part of a very large structure of oppression that's been ingrained in us. If we can understand that we made it up, we can actively work to change it.
Girl, we need to talk. We need to talk about splitting the bill. I'd say rule number 1 for girls in dating and first dates is not to offer your money if you don't want him to take you up on that offer. Do not put your card down and offer to split the bill if you do not want to split the bill. I have seen so many girls talk about that they offered to split the bill and they offered money toward the bill just to be nice, and then were so annoyed when they accepted that offer and took your money. It is your own fault for offering that money. And now he went ahead and took it, and you're mad that he took it, but you offered it. I have never, in all of the dates that I've ever gone on, been asked to give money or split the check, and I have never offered money to split the check. You invited me to dinner. I am your guest. You asked me out. So why would I pay for this? Why would I offer you money? I didn't ask you for this dinner. I didn't ask you to go out. You asked me out, which means this bill is your responsibility. So no guy has ever taken money from me or expected me to give it, nor have I ever offered it, because I'm pretty sure that that is standard. No man who knows his value and holds himself to high standards is going to take a woman to a restaurant that he cannot afford. He would never ask you out and then accept your money. The guys that I know, whether it's dating or even just completely platonic friendships, would never accept money from girls. Even when I just go out with my friends and we go to the bar, they're like, put your money away. I got it. They are not going to take you out somewhere that they can't afford to treat you. If they know that they can afford this date, they are going to take you somewhere that they can afford to pay for the whole bill. Otherwise, you're going to end up going out with cheap guys who want to take you wherever, knowing that they can't afford it and knowing that they're going to split the bill with you. A guy accepting your money on a date he invited you on is extremely insulting. If a guy ever asked me to split the bill, I would assume right then and there that he is struggling financially bad. So I would literally pay the whole bill. I'd be like, you know what? I got it. This is on me, my treat. And then he would probably think I died that night because he would never hear from me again for the rest of his life. He wouldn't be able to find me on social media. He would think I fell off the face of the earth. That would be the end of it.
I mean, unless you do some useless degree like gender studies. Do you even know what goes into a gender studies degree? Not really, but I know that it's useless. Ooh, men and women are treated different. Get over it. I mean, it's a lot more than just the study of feminism and unpaid labor, but also intersectionality, racism, colonialism, power institutions, how power is maintained. Exactly, what are you going to do with that information? So you think that the only things that have value in this society is those that have a direct monetary value within the system of capitalism? I mean, yeah, you're not going to get a job. I mean, aside from the fact that arts and culture is a multi-billion-dollar industry, you're going to tell me that the study of inequality, why people are oppressed and discriminated against, and how power is maintained, you think that's all useless? Yeah, I'm actually a bigot who hates minority groups, and I want to maintain my position of power. I feel threatened.
I'm Christian and don't agree with LGBTQ. Is that okay? What exactly do you disagree with? Because of course I respect your religion, but LGBTQ isn't an opinion. It's also not an action, nor is it a choice or a hobby. It's an identity. How do you disagree with that?
That's a list of actual pronouns that I've seen people actually identify as. Take a minute to pause. Now, if you want me to call you clown, milk, void, vamp, grass, or ghost, I will. But